Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes a little bit. This is just going to be one take, me talking into the camera and giving a bit of an assessment of my kind of creator journey up until now, my own experiences making the videos. Are there things that I thought I could have done better? What did I succeed on? Where did I fall short? So behind the scenes, reflecting on some things. Tentative title for this is going to be Behind the Scenes. I plan on releasing these periodically. This first one is coming after doing 10 videos, and then in the future, maybe after 25 videos, and so on and so forth. So I have some notes here, and I'm just going to be going through these in a little bit of a random order. I've tried to categorize them here, focusing on interviews, focusing on feedback from other people, my own feedback, rewatching things and during editing, and some other personal feelings about doing this kind of thing with, starting a YouTube channel with no experience, kind of going in blind, and so on. So let's start. I'm going to try to go back to the beginning here, to when I made my first video. I did a pair that day, actually. I was wondering, how do I want to launch this channel and try to grow my own viewer base so that I can eventually have enough subscribers that other content creators are going to want to collaborate with me and do interviews, because I know I can't be approaching my favorite guys on YouTube and demanding interviews or anything when I've got nothing in return, right? If they agree to do an interview with me, what do they gain out of it? They're talking into an empty channel. They're talking into the void. So for me, I've got to have my own interesting content. I've got to have different gaming series and so on to build subscribers. Now, I'm not somebody who enjoys begging for views and subscribers and likes and all that kind of thing. I'm trying to figure out the best way, though, that I can grow without being demanding and without sacrificing my own integrity. And some feedback from friends has been, you have to be a little more clickbaity. You know, your titles aren't always that alluring. You're certainly not asking for subscribers, so why don't you throw that in there somewhere, maybe at the end if you don't want it at the beginning. And I'm thinking about that. I still have to toy around with a lot of YouTube's features, like when you can link videos at the end of a current video, right? So you get to the end, you get to the last 5 seconds or whatever it is. You can put a subscription button there. You could do links to other videos and probably a few other things. I just haven't looked into that enough, but I think I'm going to play around with that. And just having a little subscribe button on screen at the end of a video, that's probably a good way to go about things without being in your face. I don't want to be in your face, but I still need to grow if I'm going to have any success with doing interviews. On that note, interviews, how have I done with those so far? I think they've been okay. I did one that's still not released, and this was when I was deciding, do I want to do long form or do I want to do short interviews? And a friend of mine agreed to sit down with me, and we were going to talk about some current topics. You know, at the time, there were a lot of NFT and gaming stories going on. I believe it was the creators of Worms, maybe there was a story there. People behind Stalker 2 were considering them and then scrapped them. Thank God. So we just kind of went on, and we were covering all these different topics because I was thinking, I need hot topics, I need a little bit of his story, I need to make this really interesting. And after I had that footage, I had, from the time I pressed record on my camera to the time we ended, and there were some breaks in between, but it was around 2.5 hours of footage. And maybe there was an hour and a half of interview in there, but I know that for a channel with... that's an unknown channel. That's what I am, right? I'm an unknown channel. Who is going to click on an hour and a half video, no matter what the title is? Now, if the interview is fantastic, both the interviewer and the guest are amazing, then that's not going to be a problem. Someone's going to put it on a whim, and they're going to get hooked. I have a little bit of self-awareness, so I knew that it wasn't to that quality. What I'm going to do, though, is hopefully edit that into some interesting chunks, get a little bit about him, and hopefully still be able to use that interview. As it is, though, I've done 10 episodes on my channel, and 2 of those have been interviews. So I think that's pretty good. 1/5 of my content currently is interviews, and that's what I set out to do. Is that going to stay? No, I don't think 20% of my content is going to be interviews, at least for the near future. I have a lot of solo ideas for videos that I want to do, And I just did underrated games. I plan on doing overrated games. But aside from that, I have more interesting ideas, which I don't want to divulge right now. I'll keep those a secret and I'll try to work on them. But yeah, let's just go over some of these points right now. And what did I pick up when doing interviews specifically? I see it's already been 5 minutes of runtime here, so I want to get into this a little bit. Some notes I made about the interviews. I need a better overlay. For the first one, I didn't even have one because, now this isn't a good excuse, but it's the truth. I didn't think I necessarily needed one starting out. There was more that I was going to have to practice and get good at before worrying about the overlay. You know, I don't want to be putting lipstick on a pig or whatever other expression you guys have for that kind of thing. If there's no substance there, then what does it matter if I have the most amazing overlay in the world? I have one now. It still needs to be tweaked, and I would like to use it to also include subtitles. So, for example, you guys can see it in the interview with Aaron, who's a friend of mine who's making a game. There were no subtitles there. When I tried to add them in my editor, it didn't work out very well. So I need to think of a different way of maybe having subtitles that I alternate through on OBS. Currently, I'm using OBS for my computer recording, so that includes my webcam for the interviews. That includes my microphone if I need to do any retakes, any spoken retakes. My main setup, though, is my iPhone and my microphone and a really short cable. And I ordered a cable last week that was supposed to be 3 feet, but of course it didn't fit the lightning port. So I got to return that and get a better cable because this will not do. So what else here with the interviews? Finding more as an unpopular creator. Okay, so that's just a note kind of to myself where I need to be on the hunt for other YouTubers. I don't like that word at all. I also don't like calling everyone a content creator, but it is what it is. You guys know what I mean when I say that. I need to be on the hunt for other small channels because I am unknown. I've got a lot of people who I'd love to interview, but I'm nowhere near their subscriber count. They are established channels, and they experienced a bit of a boom during the pandemic. So I gotta I don't even know how I'm gonna go about that necessarily. I've got some channels that I'm interested in looking at. Again, the issue is the ones that I'm more drawn to, they've already got 10,000 plus subscribers. But I'm gonna work on that. Like I said, I still have an interview with another buddy of mine, and he's got a little bit of knowledge on NFTs and stuff. Whether I use that or not remains to be determined. I would like to do another interview with a friend of mine who is amazing at MMOs, and he made some significant progress in Final Fantasy. I can't even speak right now. One take though. He made some significant progress in Final Fantasy 14, and at one point I believe he was like top 6 DPS in North America or something like that. If I'm inflating him right now and getting it wrong, whatever. Point is, there's an interest there for something cool, talking about MMOs in general too. And then I have my last point here for the interviews, refining my style and developing more skills, because interviewing is a skill. Maybe you don't think very much of it when you watch interviews on TV, and especially if you grew up, I'm 30 years old, so if you grew up around the same time I did, some of the legendary interviewers were Barbara Walters, Larry King, etc. I'm not saying they necessarily are. Maybe some people don't like them. I didn't watch enough of their interviews to know that. Larry King I can agree with, though. He's pretty fantastic at what he did. So there are skills there, and a lot of that is just practice. I've got to keep on doing more interviews, which is why, for me, it helps to keep them short. But I am planning them. In this little notebook here, I have rough notes and things, skeletons that I want to follow when I do my videos, when I do my interviews. So I had some feedback that my interview didn't really seem structured, which didn't really make sense to me because I did try to take care to have it flowing from personal life to technical stuff to job stuff. That was an interview I did with Mike from Riot Games. Anyways, I am aware of certain things. I'm going to be working on certain things, and hopefully that's going to get better. When the interviews don't go well, or when I don't have enough interviews to flood my channel, like I said, I've got other content that I want to work on. It's going to be a little bit tricky finding time to do that in the coming weeks because I will be moving. but hopefully everyone can look forward to that. Maybe the first big video like that will come in 1 to 2 months, but no promises. Here's some other feedback now. Audio discrepancies in the volume levels, and I agree with this. I heard it for myself. I thought I had it fixed for all videos. Apparently I did not. The barking especially, Leo's bark at the beginning of the video and the end, was too loud. I did edit that, but I made a mistake and I didn't edit that on my shell, which I use for all videos. I have a shell where it's got the title card and the end card, and then I put my content in the middle. I thought I edited the shell and brought Leo's bark down a bit. I did not. That was on a specific episode. So I went back and I fixed that for the underrated games. That should be no problem now. My talking speed, and I noticed this myself, especially in the first 2 videos. When I watched them back, they were agonizing. I couldn't believe I was talking so slowly, but what it was, because I don't have scripts here, I'm going with point form notes at the maximum. I'm giving a lot of thought to what I want to say before I record, but I don't want to come off as a robot when I'm reading things. I'm pretty sure I can read scripts and not sound like I am reading from a script. I think I can deliver that in a really natural manner. But what can you do? My style is kind of winging things. And that's a bad habit I picked up, or I continued in university. So my talking speed, though, ever since I was aware of it, I tried to work on it. And hopefully you guys have noticed that recent videos, let's just say the last 5 or 6, hopefully talking speed hasn't been an issue. And if it is, it's because I'm not following from a script, and there's times when I just want to anticipate what I'm going to say in 5 seconds, and so my words in the present slow down a little bit. I'm searching for the right things to say. Another point on feedback here was pushing for more clickbait. I mentioned the subscription and like stuff and all that, but the titles too. You know, I'm not doing all caps on any words in my titles, and I see I've been 12 minutes over here. I want this to be 15 minutes max. I don't know if I'm going to hit that. We'll see. I like my titles the way they are. I don't like doing random all caps titles or the words in there, right? Like, you guys know exactly what I mean. I can't think of anything right now, but when you click on the homepage of YouTube, and there's so many videos that are just like, watch what happens when I, something about Elden Ring, whatever. Terrible example, but you guys know what I mean. My own feedback. And these are things that I think I was working on, and I think I've done a good job on. Eye contact. My first 2 videos barely had any eye contact with the camera. I don't know what it was. I think I thought staring into a camera would be a little bit awkward. If you have a conversation with somebody in person and you're just looking at them like this the whole time, it's going to get really uncomfortable for them really quickly. There are times when you have to divert your gaze and give them a little bit of a break. Well, apparently on camera, that's not the case. You want to be looking into the camera like 99% of the time if you can. But I've been working on that, and I think eye contact is no longer a problem. More Leo in the videos. I think he's been behind my head the whole time. I think he started off here, and he's moved up to the pillow. I mean, what can I do? I thought of the idea, actually, where I could make my thumbnails with Leo, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to change the Gaming Addictions thumbnail to include Leo. This one will probably just be me holding him rather than an edit into a video game. But I like that. I came up with that. I'm going to have Leo edited into different video game scenes. I think that's a good way to incorporate him. I mean, it's tough. I have a gaming channel, and I'm trying to do more incorporations with my dog. It's a difficult problem, but I think that's as good as it gets. More interaction and discussion. And this is about the comment section and early videos that I did. I knew that there were moments when I could have asked a question to the audience that would have generated some decent discussion. Sometimes, and this is a problem I have with other YouTubers too, their comment engagement is just an afterthought. It's like, let me know what you guys think in the comments. They say that at the end of the video, and it doesn't go anywhere. Now, if someone's a fan of that creator or they like that video, they often will leave a comment, liking it, expressing that, whatever. But one thing that I want to aim for here is if I have, not the overrated games, I'm trying to think of what I did before that. But let's just say with some of my upcoming videos, there are going to be moments when I can pose questions to the audience and I can try to generate some real discussion in the comments section. I didn't do a good job of that early on. I'm going to try to be aware of that going forward. And when I write down my plans, I'm going to try to include that in specific moments. I did do that for one video, I think, but during the recording, it just ended up going a completely different way. All right, we're at 15 minutes now. I got to hurry up. So I have a note here, redoing intro video. Right, so that's just if I start coming off of the interviews a little bit. That's a terrible way to phrase it. If, as I generate more content, my interviews really start to lag behind as far as sheer quantity goes, like I'm going to be stuck with 2 or 3 interviews and I'm going to have 15 or 20 other gaming videos, I'm definitely going to need to redo my intro video, and I'm going to need to just talk about being more of a variety channel. As it is, I already don't like it that much, so I do want to redo it at some point. Next point, investing in new equipment, storage and lights, etc. Storage, I'm realizing, is going to be a big deal here because I would like to have backups of all of my film. And at the moment, I just don't have enough room to keep doing that for more than 6 months or more than a year. I'm not really sure how big these recordings are going to get. But that's something for sure. And at my new place, if I can get some lights and a proper setup, a bigger tripod, and I can have more consistency in my setups when I'm doing videos, that would be amazing. It's just a little investment I need to make. That's going to come out of pocket, and I have no issues with that because I'm doing this as a hobby anyway. I'm not looking for this to replace my main job. It can't. Definitely not in the foreseeable future. So I realize that anything I'm doing here is because I'm enjoying it and I want to put more into it. And hopefully that's been coming through. I'm hoping that I've been sincere in my videos and it is clear that I do enjoy what I'm doing and I'm not just fishing for success. I know a lot of the things that can make you more successful or at least give you more odds to play with the algorithm and whatnot. And I have willingly gone against those things. It's not what I enjoy. It's not what I like. If other people want to play the game that way, I have full respect for them, and I do admire people who are hustling to make a living on YouTube, and they are doing everything that they know is successful. But for me, that's just not the best entertainment, or it's not what I want to see as a 30-year-old grumpy old man. So, okay, and this is a good point to end on now. Try my best all the time, but realize that perfection is unattainable, and in brackets I have at the start. So what do I mean by that? Perfection is unattainable. I'm always trying to make these videos as good as they possibly can be. The problem is, because I'm lacking experience, there's a certain threshold that I can hit. For example, at my current level, maybe the best video that I can produce is going to be an 8 out of 10. I'm going to try my hardest, I'm going to do it the best job I can, but there's going to be little things missing. My ideas weren't so clearly thought out, so maybe I ended up being a little redundant. Maybe I missed a really key talking point just for whatever reason. I didn't have it before, and only watching the video back, I realized that, that would have been a good thing to talk about. So there's a limit to how good I can be at this early stage. I know that. I'm still putting in my full effort to make these videos as good as possible, but my best video now is not going to be as good as my best video, let's say 10 months from now. That's inevitable. That's how things are in every field and with everything you do. You're always going to get better. So I have some other points here to always learn and improve, and I am trying to make a big effort of that. And like I just explained, perfect now is not as good as perfect in the future. We're at about 19 minutes. I think that covers everything that I wanted to talk about. Hopefully this is interesting to you guys. If you want me to go into certain other topics when I do these behind the scenes video, for example, focus a little more on tech or the actual production side, I can do that. Let me know in the comments. Sounds funny to say that after I just complained about how people deliver that line. But seriously, and especially if you guys are other small creators, right, and you're looking for things that you can do better, or you've noticed things that I could do better, let's try to get that exchange going on and a little bit of a conversation going on, because this side of it is really interesting, and obviously on a well-published, or on a polished channel, the creator's not going to be talking about that. Very rarely do they, anyway. So this episode in particular was focused more on my thoughts, my feelings, and some feedback from friends, but if you want me to delve into the more technical aspects, I can do that in the future video. 20 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye from Leo, who's sleeping over there. and we'll see you with the next proper episode.